And we're back to Screen Preach for episode 39, and right as I sat down, I realized I forgot my wine over there on the counter, and that's it. I'm not getting up, I'm not going to go get it, I'm not going to stop, I'm not going to start up again. No wine. We're going. Episode 39. How are we doing? How's everybody? How was your week? How is, what are you watching, really, is kind of what I always start with, right? Yeah. Complete and total silence as I I need complete and total silence while I get I need complete and total silence. I need complete and total silence while I get into character. Name that movie. If you can name that movie, I'll send you a free shirt. Actually, no, I take that back. That's an easy one. For people watching, that's an easy one. If you don't know what that's from, I mean, come on. Seriously. Yeah, here we go. Let's do this. This is another week here, and it's been cool to kind of just pick and choose what I want to watch. A lot of stuff coming out on streaming, no movie theaters, everything HBO Max, their slate is official, so they will be... Warner Brothers is dropping everything on HBO Max. So it's going to be in theaters and on HBO Max in the on the same exact day, everything. And there's a lot of big titles. You can look up their slate. Or I can put it up maybe for you guys real quick. But yeah, check it out because it's actually pretty action-packed. There's a lot of cool stuff. And even like something like The Sopranos prequel movie. Like that's Warner Brothers. That's coming out same day as theaters, HBO Max. Dune, Suicide Squad sequel. Literally just a whole bunch of stuff. And don't forget about the Snyder Cut of Justice League that's coming too, which I'll get to in the news here. They have an official date for that, so I will be watching it and talking about it in one of the future episodes. But this week, I decided to pick something that was supposed to come out in theaters, didn't come out in theaters, finally dropped it somewhere. Apple just dropped it, I think, and yeah, you can rent it or buy it now on Apple. And it's I'm going to talk about the New Mutants. So it was technically the last, like official last X-Men movie, you know, of all of them, which again doesn't make sense because in my opinion, once Logan came out, that was like the perfect ending to anything X-Men. And then they came out with that horrible fucking Dark Phoenix movie after that, and then New Mutants was like technically the last one. And I'll talk about why the connectivity in that movie didn't work for me. But I'll try to keep it... I won't be hard on it or anything, because as a standalone movie, it's still kind of... It's fun, and it works in its own way. So I won't, beat it up because of that. But there is, like, an obvious connection to Logan that was, like, bothersome for me, because it just didn't need to be in there. But... yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about, and I'll talk about it in the name of the Godfather, the Son of Odin, and the Holy Jedi. Didn't forget to do the slogan this week. All good. Yeah, so let's keep it moving here. Let's do the news of the week first, as we always do. Unless, I feel like every week I got to talk about WandaVision, right? I have to, right? It's the thing, whatever's the new big thing, I got to keep up with it, right? If it was the Mandalorian... and right after Mandalorian, WandaVision. So I mean every week, and spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, yeah, it's I'm gonna just talk about it. So episode 4 was the one we were waiting for, right? Because it's been a slow build, the pacing a little, but like I said, you fucking just stick with it. Stop complaining, because Marvel knows what they're doing, and they're gonna pay it off. So episode 4 was the episode that we were waiting for. And not like 100% the episode we were waiting for, because we know it's going to get even crazier. And not all the answers to all of our questions were answered, because that would be poor writing to answer all of our fucking questions in episode 4. But episode 4 did break things up wide open. We get to kind of see why this is happening a little bit, what it actually is a little bit too. Still don't really know what it is, but it's cool to like take a step back and a break, from all the tropey sitcom-y stuff they've been doing the last few weeks. Last week ended with like Wanda throwing Geraldine out of the just out, like out in of the whatever it was, right? And this week we learned that Geraldine is not Geraldine; it's Monica Rambeau, and we get a lot of like Easter egg hints and questions answered, like about Sword, right? The organization that I thought, in my opinion, I thought Sword was created in the 5 year gap, right? In Endgame, there's a 5 year gap, and I thought maybe that's when Sword was created, but no, it's actually been around. It looks like, and I think maybe not, maybe it was created in that 5 year gap by Maria Rambeau. Now, so Maria Rambeau was Carol Danvers' best friend in Captain Marvel, and her daughter Monica is now all grown up, and that is who Geraldine was. That's Monica Rambeau. She's all grown up now, but she's an agent of Sword, right? And her mother, Maria, Carol's best friend, created Sword. That's what we found out. And that's a cool MCU thing, because like Peggy Carter creating Shield, Maria Rambeau creating Sword. I like that parallel. It's very cool. I think that totally works. So that was cool. But also that Maria Rambeau died. Just the way she died of cancer. She's gone. But the way that this episode started too, with like a little bit of the blip from Endgame, like it turns out I guess Monica was snapped away, like a bunch of people were, and that was fucking crazy. So the way the episode starts is totally Marvel-esque. Like if you were like bored, you're immediately not bored when episode 4 starts. It's like holy shit. And then just the people in this episode. You got characters from Thor, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel in this episode. And yeah, Kat Dennings returns as Darcy from Thor, which is great. That having her was great. She's hilarious. But also Randall Park's Jimmy Woo. Remember Agent Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp? Who's keeping tabs on Scott when he's under house arrest. He's like, I love that scene where he's explaining it to his daughter. He's like, do you know how when you draw on the walls at school, there's consequences? Well, your dad went to Germany and drew on the walls with Captain America. I love that line every time. It cracks me up. But he's back too. Jimmy Woo, Agent Woo, is back. Don't forget about this 5 year gap thing too. A lot of things have changed in that 5 years that we don't know about. So characters might, like when I first saw Jimmy Woo, I thought maybe he's part of Sword too. Like he's not with the FBI anymore. He's part of Sword. 5 years have passed that are unaccounted for at this point in the story. But no, he's still part of the FBI. I think the most important character here that we're getting introduced to is Monica Rambeau, because she's supposed to become a big player in the storyline moving forward. She's supposed to become actually like another Captain Marvel type character. She gets superpowers. I don't know how, I don't know when, but she's a very big character, clearly, and episode 4 highlights her. She's kind of like the protagonist of episode 4. Great fucking episode, and I can't wait for next week, because they're just gonna keep it. This is like a big, like, I mean, Wanda's trauma, like, has been building to something like this. There's a lot of theories. Perhaps she's behind all this, and she's just, like, totally, all her repressed sadness and rage is just coming out in some crazy form. But nah, there's probably something way deeper than that we're not aware of. Some kind of villain, something. Definitely should be watching WandaVision every Friday on Disney+. And yeah, it's the year, Marvel's back, officially back. A full year off, and we're back and we're rolling, and every week there's something new. All year, pretty much, because we go right into the next show after WandaVision, we get Black Widow, it's just constant. We're going. Even next year, it's just going to keep going. Every week we have some, that's my favorite part, is that every week we get new Marvel content. The story continues every week. It's even better than when we just had movies. Now we have TV shows and movies. So it's amazing. If you're not watching WandaVision, you should be. Go check it out. So yeah, that was a little bit longer of a recap than I would have liked to do, but whatever. Keep it going here. News of the week. Yeah, not a whole lot of stuff, but so I'll do it a little quicker, and we'll keep going. What did we got? Earlier in the week I saw something. I mean, they officially rounded out the cast for the Sandman TV series coming on Netflix. So if you don't know yet, I've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks about how the Sandman comics is being adapted to a TV show on Netflix. Even the writer of the comics is the writer of the show. So yeah, for uh, originality staying, original, we have the same writer for both mediums. That's going to be great. And they have officially rounded out the cast. I saw that. I already knew who was playing Dream, but I mentioned last week how Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones and Star Wars has also joined the cast, but I didn't know who she was playing. She's playing. She's playing. Shit, I saw it in the comics. It's a male character, but she's playing the character in the show. I think it was Lucifer. Yeah, she's playing Lucifer, which was interesting. That'll be an interesting take on the character. But my favorite thing to see was that I think it's Roy Holbrook, the actor Holbrook. Now I'm blanking on his name from Logan. Shit, he's in it. Didn't know that. That was the biggest name other than the obvious that I saw who's going to be in the show. I think that's still supposed to come out this year too. So keep your eyes peeled for. I'll keep my eyes peeled for that and let people know too. Yeah. What else? There's supposedly a new Knights of the Old Republic game being developed, and not by BioWare or EA. Just something to keep. I'm keeping. I'm sprinkling in a little bit of the video game stuff, a little bit here. I got the video game poster over here for Assassin's Creed Revelations. It's not all movies all the time, because gaming is yeah, whatever. Great storytelling in gaming. Did you play Red Dead Redemption 2? What a story that was. It's all the talk sometimes about how writers of video games are not represented in the same way they should be. Like, even with the guilds and stuff and the unions, they're not even taken seriously, the video game writers, but they're also great storytellers. So yeah, video game stuff I will bring up, okay? That's basically all I was trying to say. New Knights of the Old Republic game that would be great. It's like on a console and not on PC. Like, that would be fucking fantastic, and especially with this whole new Star Wars deal that was made, where they're not bound to EA anymore, and you got Ubisoft making a game, and it should be fantastic. What if that's the game too that Ubisoft is making? Is the Knights of the Old Republic game? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Harry Potter TV series in the works. I put it up on Instagram, but in last week's episode, what did I say? I immediately said it. I was like, if there's any universe in dire need of a TV series, it's the Harry Potter franchise. TV series is coming. HBO Max. So that'll be interesting. I wonder what the story will be about. The timeline. Will it be about Harry, Ron, and Hermione's kids? Will it be in the past? Will it be I don't know. Who knows? But it should be interesting. Honestly, they should do like new characters that we've never heard of before and do a story about them in that universe. That's more interesting, I think, to do that. The Witcher prequel, Blood Origin, and there's another one too. I think they're doing two The Witcher prequels on Netflix. Still haven't gotten around to watching that, but I will. Now I'm kind of like interested for some reason. All of a sudden, randomly. I have no fucking idea. I wasn't going to watch it. Now all of a sudden I want to watch it. Who knows? I don't know why. So Craig Mazin extends his HBO Max deal. That's awesome. Craig Mazin, props to you. He's doing The Last of Us TV series. He did Chernobyl. He's got a nice slate he's got some good stuff coming out. And I listen to his podcast too, with John August. And so I like following screenwriters that I know. And I think it's great that he is extending his HBO Max deal for original content. I wonder what else he might have lined. Maybe something original that's maybe a new idea he has that's lined up. Tomb Raider sequel finds its director. Misha Green is to write and direct the Tomb Raider sequel, and that is the sequel to the Alicia Vikander reboot that came out some years ago now. Um, Finally doing a sequel to that. Robert Rodriguez rebooting Spy Kids. That was funny. I saw that earlier this week. That's funny. I need complete and total silence while I get into character. um, yeah, Spy Kids. Wow. Remember that? Fucking cheesy shit. I still see that meme too. I love that meme. It's like Steve Buscemi's line in Spy Kids. It says, "Do you think that's why God stays in heaven? Because he too fears what he created." I love that meme where the people are like, "I can't believe that Steve Buscemi said this in a kids movie." And it's such a deep line too. Whatever. Robert Rodriguez is rebooting Spy Kids. I don't really know why. Do we really need that? They were shitty to begin with. Do we really need another one? I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a TV series and not a movie. Then it would be a little different. Interesting. I don't know. Netflix is expanding its growing anime original content. It's doing a Kong Skull Island anime series. Godzilla vs. Kong, the trailer dropped. That looks interesting. That's another one coming right. It's coming out right away on HBO Max. Seriously, all these movies too. I'll just be able to watch them. I'm excited about it as much as I'm like bummed about. I want the movie theater. That experience needs to be salvaged no matter what. It's too important. It's too crucial. But it's exciting too to just be able to watch something right here. It's not. It's great. It's great and it's not great. It's a love-hate thing. But it's awesome that I can just watch these movies when they come out and then talk about them on the podcast. Like blockbuster level movies just dropping right on our TVs. Yeah, but they're doing an anime series for Kong as well. Netflix is developing it. And there's supposedly going to be a Cloverfield sequel coming out. I just put this up today, but Cloverfield sequel with the Batman TV series showrunner set to helm the film. That was a fun movie when it came out. And then there was 10 Cloverfield Lane a few years ago. I mean, that was kind of like a sequel. Did you really? So I don't know what this is. I guess a direct sequel is what this is. Yeah, that's interesting. Spider-Man 3 has been hinted at aliens being involved. Zendaya, she dropped a little bomb, like that there might be a little alien conflict in there somewhere. Don't even, just remember what we're dealing with Spider-Man 3. It's like it's crazy. With the multiverse and everything, it's just going to be insane. So aliens showing up is the least crazy thing I've heard about that movie so far. And the biggest news this week was there's an official date for Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. Dropping right on HBO Max. I think it's a 4-hour movie or something. I thought they were going to do it as a series, which would have been kind of more interesting. But it's just going to be a long movie. And it comes out March 18th. So, official date for that. Don't expect it to be any better. But I guess don't expect it to be any worse. Yeah, don't expect it to be any worse. That is the news of the week this week. Let's do our topic. Let's discuss the New Mutants. There's one line in this movie that was powerful, and it's the one that opens it and the one that closes it. It's so cliche, like the way voiceover was used, because it's so like repetitively used this way. You open the film with a quote, and then you close, but you don't finish it, right? And then you close it with the same quote, and then you finish it at the end. But it was good. I felt it. I felt that line. I did. And she says there are two bears inside every one of us, right? One good, one bad, one light, one dark, something like that. And at the end, She finishes it. She asks her father, which one wins? And he says, whichever one you feed. It's just like a little line, right? A little bit of there's a little cheese on there, cheddar cheese on that line, but it's still, I felt that. All right. When you can convey a repetitive theme like being scared, right? Of like darkness and inside you or whatever, if you can convey it in a new and interesting way, I fuck with it. I fuck with it. But we'll talk about the writing a little bit because it was kind of stuff a little bit. I think it rather worked for the pacing of the film. The fact that it was a little bit shorter. It was an hour and a half, not too long. We get to the hospital rather quickly, right? They don't spend too much time building to that. We get right to the hospital where all the conflict is. The point of the film is to be mysterious, so why not throw the audience in a situation where they have a lot of questions? When you throw us right in the hospital, we're like, okay, what the fuck's going on here, right? And immediately we have questions because of the way it opens. We don't know what the hell's going on in the beginning. That opening sequence is weird. And then they just, boom, cut right to the hospital. So we're like, whoa, what's going on here? So you're interested. You're interested. The stakes are set, and we want to know what's going on. We want to know what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. We want to know why they should be locked up in this place, but most importantly, how our protagonist Danielle even got there. I mean, they don't actually... You don't actually get an explanation for how she got there. I guess they found her. I don't know. That was a little sloppy. But the problem is, even though it's short, there is a lack of big plot moments, I felt like. It kind of just, we kind of just roll from one problem into the next, one moment into the next. There are moments that present ideas that take a while to pay off. And then there's moments that set things up, but set things up too obviously. And basically what I mean by that was the doctor character, Dr. Reyes. I didn't trust her the second she walked in. The second I saw her, I didn't trust her. So that was an obvious payoff. She's going to be bad in the end, right? And lo and behold, she was bad in the end. The themes are set up right away, and they were effective enough with Danielle's opening line, right? She foreshadows the big reveals at the end with that opening. There's themes of understanding who we really are, our full potential, growth, freedom. The whole stage of the story is set in a prison they clearly must break free of. How they break free is uncertain, but it's also metaphorical for breaking free of any internal binds or chains that you may be holding on to. Things that are crushing you, things that are holding you inside that you need to break free of. Self-acceptance or whatever, right? I had a hard time trusting Dr. Race the second she started speaking. Breaking free means first understanding self-control, so that's this idea they present, because the alternative is chaos, right? So the doctor is like, you gotta control your power so that it doesn't control you, and there's a whole bunch of fucking hooey-fooey bullshit going on where you're causing destruction. Chaos is unleashed by the immense power they all possess. Most importantly, I think the themes are relatable for anyone watching it, but I'm not sure the payoff is satisfying enough. Like I said, that opening closing line parallel was nice, but I don't know that the end was as powerful as it could have been. I could see where it was going too easily a lot of times. Danielle has a power of both light and dark, as she even implies in the beginning, but the darkness consumes easier, and her power seems to possess her and everyone else. I also saw her relationship with Rain going into something more than friendship. I saw that coming right away. So things were set up that were clearly obvious. But that one, though, you're supposed to kind of know that that's coming. She's got romantic feelings for her. Like that's not like, oh, that was too obvious. That's not like, that's just naturally you pick up on that. Overall, it takes on a deep religious undertone, too. This idea of angels and demons, heaven and hell, was a big theme. I know that a horror element was always meant to be expressed in this. The filmmakers wanted to take a horror approach to superhero films, so that did work too. There was some freaky shit in here. It's not like I jump scared or anything, but it was creepy crawl. Like it was freaking me out sometimes. So that was effective. My skin crawled basically. Also, did anyone else notice like I mentioned these connections to the other X-Men films that I didn't really care for, but did anyone else even notice? They literally play scenes from Logan. So they play these hospital facility scenes from Logan where Laura from Logan was held prisoner. And then, of course, the organization, too. Shit. Damn it, Benji, you didn't write it down, and now you forgot the name. What is it, Roxxon? Roxxon? No. Was it Roxxon? No. Roxxon is other Marvel stuff. Shit, I forget. The same organization that was capturing mutants, experimenting on mutants. Basically the bad guys, right? The ones who wiped out mutant kind in Logan. That's who the Doctor turns out to be working for, right? Those little connections, I don't know that they're necessary. I think this would have worked better if they allowed the story to stand on its own, not try to connect it to the other X-Men movies. But if you don't follow the X-Men movies, you wouldn't have even noticed, so I guess it's fine. But having it take place sometime around Logan, that I actually thought did work in terms of timeline decisions, because that's like futuristic. So having it take place around Logan with the extinction of mutants and then like New Mutants, it's called New Mutants. So yeah, that worked actually where it takes place in the timeline. I'm torn a little bit because was it great, this movie? No. But it wasn't terrible. I was curious about where the plot would go, as I was annoyed. I was annoyed when I saw things coming from a mile away, but at least I wasn't totally bored. Always in this situation, the Doctors turn out to be totally one-dimensional villains. No fucking depth. I mean, she's just Reyes. She's like obvious villain, like just cliche villain. Bad guys who want to take the power for themselves or control it, right? She wants to take Danielle's powers, and then fucking she wants to kill Danielle. I don't even know. It gets a little bit crazy. I was a little unclear about some things too, like how were Danny's projections of darkness becoming real? Like there's a point in the story where they don't really explain good enough, like the whole there's like a dimension thing going on, because one of the other characters, her powers is she can like jump into like a limbo and fight Danielle's apparitions. It's a little confusing, that stuff. But at least we get like a really action-packed final sequence. We get to see our mutants utilize their powers. They all have cool powers. I thought they all had really unique powers, like even some we haven't seen before in X-Men films. They needed to allow this film to stand alone, I think, definitely. Because once again, too, if it comes back to the X-Men films needing to have an end, Logan was the end. Okay? Not this. The villain in this film is lacking real agency because the second a power is too strong, they want to fucking destroy it. She wants to kill Danielle. Instead of doing what doctors truly do and what she said she was going to do in the beginning, which is actually attempt to help her control it. Like, literally, she flip-flops entirely. With no real motivation for it, except that my superiors wanted me to. Your power is too great to control, or whatever. Yeah. I was also unsure about Reyes. It seems like she has powers, and then I'm not sure if they're powers. Like, she has this ability to, like, create force fields or something. I don't know if it was, like, a power or if it was, like, technology. Like, they didn't clarify that. I'm going to go with technology just because if she were a mutant, she'd have compassion for other mutants, wouldn't she? Overall, the biggest flaw is there's not an effective amount of character development. We don't get to spend as much time as we really should, allowing the characters to grow. Their arcs are a tad bit weak. It ends up being a CGI fest, too, at the end, which It seems like all these films kind of fall back on that if they can't, if their story, if that central, structure isn't solid, they just fall back on like, let's throw a bunch of action sequences at them. It's not that it's a terrible movie. I just don't know that I'd watch it again. Let's put it that way. Um, that was her. No, that was me. No, that was my mouth. Okay, whatever. That one sounded real. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep this moving. There were some good lines. Some good, this whole idea of overcoming fear. It's impactful and relatable for an audience. The bear is too big. The fear is too big. But no, you're bigger, right? You're bigger than your fear. The ending worked in its own right. Two bears inside us, one light, one dark. I thought that was good. If there is one thing this film had, it was one hell of a cast. From Massey Williams to Anna Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton. I mean, every big star from every TV show you can think of kind of showed up in this movie. I thought the film should have given them more to work with, really let their talent shine through. I didn't mind the length, but for these actors, we needed more character development. With that being said, this film is better because of who is in it. I think the actors overall, they kind of drive the film in a pretty good direction. So my overall rating was a 7.3. It was okay. And that's where I'm leaving it. Let's do our fun fact of the week. And I wanted to keep things in the superhero realm this week for our segments. And the fun facts are my favorite segment. Honestly, I love the fun facts. I talked deeply about Logan back in episode 18, and it truly is a masterpiece. It's in my all-time top 10. Like, it's literally in my top 10 films. Like, it's one of my favorite films of all time. So since we brought it up already, we'll do that. Did you know that the making of Logan was so incredible that the pure attention to detail it's just unparalleled. Like, little things from the samurai sword Logan obtains in 2013's The Wolverine being seen in the mill they're hiding it, or the mention of the Statue of Liberty, which is a reference to the final fight scene in the first X-Men film. But the dedication on the part of the actors is what was most amazing. Sir Patrick Stewart, who plays Professor X, said that he lost 21 pounds for the role of an ailing Charles Xavier. Stewart said that he has had a steady weight since he was a teenager and had never deliberately lost weight before for a role. Hugh Jackman was genuinely carrying Stewart around in all the scenes where Logan is carrying Professor X. Truly masterful work by everyone involved in the film. That's just a couple of little facts about that movie, but there's a bunch. It's a masterful film, that movie. And if you really want to deep dive, think about Logan, go back and watch episode 18 of Scream Preach, where I talk deeply about Logan for an hour and 15 minutes. I love the movie. Go watch. Question of the week this week. Last week I asked, what is the most anticipated video game of 2021? Which one are you most looking forward to? I don't have a poll. Do I have a poll? Yeah, I do have a poll. Let's see what everybody said. God of War Ragnarok was number one. Honestly, didn't expect it, but doesn't surprise me. Gotham Knights, I forgot about. The Batman games are amazing. This one's interesting too, because no Batman. Batman dies in the story for this game, and you play as the other characters. You play as Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Red Hood, right? Batman's sidekicks, his underlings. They have to take over the protection of Gotham. They become the Gotham's Knights, and that's it. I'm psyched for that. That is my most anticipated of this year. I changed my mind. And then we have a bunch of stuff like Far Cry 6, Hogwarts Legacy, but that is, like I said, that's pushed back to 2022. I don't know why that's on here. Diablo 4 and Mario Kart 9. It's a pretty good list. There's some good games coming out this year. This week, the question is simple. What is your favorite X-Men film of all time? And I'll make it a little more interesting. We're not including Logan. What's your favorite X-Men with X-Men in the title? What's your favorite X-Men film of all time? For me and for most people, it's going to be Days of Future Past. Just a brilliant, brilliant X-Men. Just a creative idea all around. That's a great X-Men movie. Merging the timelines and everything, and it's great. Movie quote this week. Think about what the theme this week is, and here it is. Let's see what you got. I've been doing a lot of reading, you know, like on evolution and like how. So basically, there's like this thing. There's this thing like the apex predator, right? And like basically, human beings are the apex predator, but that's just because like smaller animals can't feed on us because of like weapons and stuff, right? A lion does not feel guilty when it attacks a gazelle. You do not feel guilty when you squash a fly. And I think that means something. I think that really means something. Name that movie. Used to make fun of that quote all the time back in the day when we saw that movie. Oh man, that movie was good though. That's a good movie. But it was fun. It's funny. The performances, the way he acts, the actor, and it used to crack me up that whole persona that he has. This week on Caught My Attention, I just want to throw it out there. They're in talks again to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill and take Andrew Jackson off. They were going to do it back in the day, and then it didn't happen. But yeah, it's immediately getting moved into talks to throw Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. I mean, at the end of the day, Jackson, he owned slaves, and Tubman freed them. So yeah, I'm on board. Do it. Who should be on our currency? Right? How about a little? Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I also saw something else, but I can't remember what it was now. It was like really cool too. Something. Oh, yeah. We all thought that 2021 was going to be the year of aliens, but really it's the year of robots. Like there's like robots, like human-like robots being put into production this year or something. Do we really need an iRobot scenario where they all turn on us and let's see what actually happens with that. Yeah. Okay, we're done. Good week, good episode. We're done. Let's call it. Yeah, good. I am your host, Ben Morganti. You can follow me at the Benji on Instagram. You can follow the show at Screen Preach. Subscribe to BMS Studios on YouTube. Yeah. If you really want to support the show, I don't think you should look up patreon.com/BenMorganti anymore because it doesn't work. So just go to my website, benmorgantistory.com, and also there's a link there for my Patreon. Until we figure this out, that's where you'll find the Patreon page. But yeah, you know the drill. You know what's up. You know what's good. Just keep it going. Keep moving forward here, and come back next week, and I'll have more discussion for you, more news, and yeah. See you later, guys.